Well, you guys, hey, here you can see I've got my brand new PlayStation 5. I am excited to bust this out and give you guys all the tips and tricks when it comes to PlayStation, just like I have with Xbox in the Series S and Series X. I mean, I've had a full year and a half since launch day to be able to test out the Xbox and become an expert on it and give you guys the little tips and tricks when it comes to gaming and different monitors and things like that. So I'm super happy to announce that I will be now adding into that benchmarking suite PlayStation 5. And it couldn't come at a better time because there's certain rumor mills coming around about 1440p 120 hertz. So that kind of triggers me to make this video based on some feedback that I've gotten from you guys around what resolution monitor you should be looking for. So today I'm going to be talking about 1080p, 1440p, 4K, which one you should choose, the refresh rate, why you would choose that one, and kind of where consoles fit into that mix, including the PlayStation 5. So I think this will be a bit short and sweet for you guys. I don't want to go too in-depth here.
One eternity later.
But I do get a lot of questions about, should I buy this monitor or should I buy that monitor? So I'm going to break down, starting with 1080p, why you would choose that particular monitor over another. You may be asking yourself, why would I buy a 1080p monitor? Well, the fact of the matter is that 1080p has been around for a very long time, 10, 12, 15 years. It's been perfected to a point where you can pretty much put all of the current tech into a 1080p monitor and get it for a reasonable price. So a lot of you guys have been asking about, different resolutions for console gaming. And this is where 1080p really shines. If you don't want to spend a ton of money for your PlayStation 5 or for your Xbox, whether it's a Series S or X, then 1080p is a fantastic resolution for you. And furthermore, if you're a PC gamer and you want high performance, then 1080p is the best performance you can realistically get. You can get 240 or 280 hertz monitors. Heck, you can get 360 hertz monitors. So, there's really no shortage there of refresh rate as long as your GPU can match it. And if we look back at that Acer Nitro monitor that I reviewed, the 280 hertz one, the motion was perfect. And yeah, granted, I'm using a 3090. Even in some of the most FPS heavy games, I was getting 160 to 180 frames per second with medium settings. And I could probably go down to less graphically intensive games such as like Valorant or something like I did in the video and get amazing FPS for my GPU, whether it's a 3090 or even a 5000 series AMD. But my tip for you, if you're looking for 1080p, don't settle with just basic. Look for something that maybe has a bit better brightness level, that has a bit more menus and calibration setting. Like LG's Ultra Gear and their GN or GP lineup, they actually have great menus and calibration capability. And most of them are IPS monitors, so they actually have really good motion capability while retaining their color. Okay, moving on to the big announcement here, you guys. There's been a ton of rumor going around in the rumor mill about an update coming to the PlayStation 5 very, very soon, within the next couple of months, to support 1440p high refresh rate, as high as 120 hertz. Now, I've seen a couple mixed reviews here. I've been waiting just as long as you guys have for this to happen because traditionally I've owned 1440p monitors, and they're the sweet spot of gaming. The fidelity and the motion are just perfect. Well, there hasn't been a massive amount of new news. There are some new titles coming out, and I'll put it down below for you guys to check out. There are some new titles coming out that support a 1440p resolution and then upscale to 4K. But what does that tell us? It tells us that 1440p is going to be a supported resolution, which means games are being optimized to run at 1440p, which leads me to say that the only logical next step at that point, if Sony and PlayStation, if they're asking their developers to optimize 1440p, the next step is unlocking that capability out of the actual console itself. But why would you buy 1440p over 1080p and 4K? It's just like I said in the beginning, it's kind of the sweet spot. You get maximum fidelity, allowing you to go 32 inches in sizes, or heck, maybe even 34 ultra wide if you're a PC gamer, without stretching out your pixels too far to where it becomes hazy and kind of ugly to look at. Traditionally speaking, a lot of the new technologies that are coming out, FreeSync Premium Pro, G-Sync Ultimate, all of those things are being developed on 1440p platforms because they're the most kind of sought after in that premium experience. For example, 4K is just way too expensive for everyone to afford, but 1080p is kind of too old tech to put in something that's going to drive up the cost on it. I mean, I'll throw out an example. I have 2 gigabyte monitors sitting over here in their M series. One is the M32Q and one is the M28U. They are actually KVM monitors, making them great multitasking kind of tools for people that don't just game. They don't put that technology into many different monitors. Now, there is a 1080p version, but not many monitors at 1080p offer that. It's little bits like that, little tiny advanced features that add up as you package it all together that make 1440p probably the most desirable, the most bang for your buck, and the best experience overall that you're going to get for the price you spend. And that brings us to the 4K resolution, kind of the meta of resolutions right now. Everybody wants to get their hands on one, but they're so dang expensive and, quite honestly, hard to come by. But with new and next gen consoles out there, the PlayStation 5, the Series X being able to give you that experience, are you missing out if you don't have one? And if you buy one now, will you miss out on updated features that are coming down the pipeline over the next year? Well, I personally have 2 4K monitors. They're both HDMI 2.1. They're both 144 Hertz. They're both IPS panels. They both were released in 2021, and that, of course, is the G7 or G70A and the M28U. And realistically speaking, not everyone's going to benefit from it. Like, if you're not using an RTX like 3080 and up, or a 2080 Ti or something like that, there's probably not a massive benefit for you to go out and spend the average of $899 on it. But my honest to God truth is, if you have an Xbox Series X and a PlayStation 5, you will get massive benefits from using 4K HDMI 2.1 monitors. The big reason is the fact that it's just compatible. You unlock all of the settings that are capable in most cases between those settings. You're not losing out on HDR. You're not losing out on VRR. In some cases, you're not losing out on auto low latency mode. And with people using PC setups, if you've got the graphics card to drive the 4K and give you a high refresh rate or an immersive experience, you're absolutely going to enjoy it. Now, most people say you can't really perceive 4K resolution until you get up to about 32 inches. But the reality is we're sitting closer and closer to these things on PC than we are on console. We're maybe 1.5 to 2 feet away from our actual desk. And I personally reviewed some 1080p monitors that I look at. I'm like, wow, I don't know how I played on this for so long. And that's by no means saying that all 1080p's are bad. It's just that some are, and you can tell. And when you set it side by side, a 4K monitor, you will notice the difference. But here's a big reason why I would tell you to invest in 4K. And it's the fact that it's not going anywhere. It's only going to become the primary resolution that we game and we consume content on. You can buy a 4K monitor and rest easy that for the next 5 years, you will not need anything else to be compatible with the technology that we have today, whether it's console, graphics cards, streaming devices, whatever it is, it's going to be compatible for at least the next 5 years, if not more so. Now, I know this isn't a very vast description of why you should buy all of these 3 different resolutions and who it's best for. This was really just kind of let me answer some questions for you guys. let me put out my 2 cents on what I think is best right now in today's market. I personally believe that 1440p is taking over the PC and console kind of market share. And we've seen that for the last year or two now. But I believe more so, we're gonna flip a switch here, and 4K is going to quickly take over 1440p. That's my opinion, and that's why 2022 is gonna be all about 1440p in 4K gaming. So I invite all of you guys who are listening and watching this video to please comment below. What's your favorite resolution? What do you play on? I've got a lot of people that still play on 1080p, 60 hertz, not a lot, but there's a few, and they're super happy with it. And I can appreciate that. You know, there's something to be said about something that's old and trustworthy, something that you can rely on. But if you're excited and you love 1440p and you love 4K and you think it's the best, put it down below. Hey, if you disagree with me and you think that I'm just taking a shot in the dark here and have no idea what I'm talking about, I've seen you guys post. I know you're willing to call me out if you would like. Doesn't mean you're right, but that's okay. I like to have that conversation with you in the comments section. So, hey, you guys, I've got a ton of new content coming out. Just actually did a review on the Scepter C32 Nebula. It's an HDR 1000 monitor, 1440p in resolution. I've got the Gigabyte M32Q. I've got the PlayStation 5 queued up to do 2 4K reviews with it. So definitely hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see when those videos drop. Just got a ton more content going out this year. 2022 is going to be prime, I think. So, all right, you guys, hey, share this video with your friends, share the channel with your friends, and I'll catch you in the next video.